All right, everybody, what is going on? Needs more drums back in City Skylines in a new city, not Percussion for right now, because as you may know, the game got patched a few weeks ago, and there was a lot of new DLC content and a new game update. So a lot of the mods, as is to be expected, broke, and I didn't even want to try to really open up the Percussion save game until I just gave it a couple weeks for things to get updated. I'll probably try doing it later this week or something so we can get back into that city and continue working. But I always kind of still like to play the game after the patches and try to take a look at some of the new content in just a vanilla city. And this time I kind of wanted to do something a little bit interesting. So this is the city of Stay Movensburg, which is this fun little name for that kind of gives away the theme of what we're actually going to do. And my goal for this city is not spend a lot of time on detail, not spend a lot of time on building certain areas, but I really want to play with the emphasis on public transport. I want to use every single form of public transport at some portion or to some degree, at some point in the series. And this is going to be a real low key kind of once in a while, kind of like a mini series, so to speak. It's not going to be a ton of episodes. I really probably won't even do a lot of the showcase a lot of the builds. This is more going to be like a management series and looking at all the public transport options. So that's one thing that I've never done in my cities, is taking advantage of all the public transit options in City Skylines. Usually I'll do buses, I'll do trains, and to be honest, I've been playing the game for a long time. I don't think I've ever really done a good metro system. I've never used the monorail. I've never used even the little things like the cable car, inner city buses. I just never used those a lot in the game. And so I thought this would be a fun challenge for me, and to kind of get familiar with some of the aspects of the game that I've never really used. And just trying to challenge ourselves to see if we can actually use every single form of public transport in this city. And I'm talking literally everything, like ferries too. I've never used ferries. I mean, just stuff like that's there, and I always intend on using it, but then either I get bored and I stop playing with my city, or I don't like the way it looks and I just start a new one and never get it really big enough to use a lot of those public transport options. But this time we're not gonna mess around. We're gonna build the city, not really care too much in the details, and then we're gonna use public transport. We're gonna connect everything up. So as you can see, the city is not complete, and there are some big areas that I still need to develop. So just real quick before we jump into the actual project for this episode, I want to show you guys just kind of what we got going on. So this is actually the start tile here. I forget the name of this map, but it's a really nice map. It's cool because you have these two outside connections. You have a nice beachfront over here, kind of like a Miami type style, but then you have a little bit more inland of quite a big area to work with, and some kind of swamplands up here and another little beach up here. And unfortunately, I do not have any sort of tile expansion mod, so 25 tiles, 81 tiles, not using those. So I've already purchased all 9 tiles of the city, which is basically this area right here. And I'm not going to be building anything over here, but there's still plenty of room to build. And as you may know, based on kind of like my Hawthorne series and even Percussion, that I do like to go for more of a scaled down type of build, similar to how $2.20 has been doing a lot of his builds. I think it gives you a chance to use all the public transport options even better, because you can connect kind of different cities together as opposed to just like different neighborhoods within your city. I think it kind of gives a cool little aspect to the game, and you can kind of capture a lot within a smaller, more scaled down map area. So to start, this is actually the starting tile down here, and I built up just using the mid-century modern pack and the new shopping malls DLC. Built this whole little neighborhood, and with a little downtown shopping center. I think that these buildings look fantastic. I mean, they just capture this beachfront kind of luxury vibe just so well, and great job on these. If you haven't grabbed this content creator pack, I highly recommend that you do so. And it even came with this market right here, this little grocery store, kind of like Whole Foods type deal. And I will admit though, I'm a little disappointed that this is a specialized building, or a unique building, so you can only place it once in your city. Maybe you can copy and paste it and move it, but if you're playing vanilla, It is unfortunate that you can only place this one time, because I think this would be a good building to put around a lot of your suburbs and everything, you know, too. So kind of sad, but either way, still a great looking building. And you know, just kind of threw some apartments around here, a little bit higher density stuff. The industry, I'm going to come back and fix a little bit. I had some power plants sitting here, but those are since gone because I've, you know, relocated those. You know, and I just kind of had to fit industry where I could, given the fact that this was the starting tile right here. So, you know, that, like, obviously I kind of want to get rid of all this and make it something else and push the industry into like a better area. But, you know, got to do what you got to do. Got to work with what you got. And over here, you know, I know there's a lot of awkward spaces, but again, not getting too bogged down in the details. There's I could, you know, want to fill in some trees around here, kind of around this canal. And but like right here, you know, I got some residential zones that aren't developing for some reason and haven't been developing. So I don't know what's going on with that, but maybe I'll just put a plaza there and for some trees and call it a day. And then, you know, obviously, like, got to still do some work here. But yeah, you know, this is kind of like a Miami Beach type of area, just some tall high rises. I know we got some hotels here, some, you know, beachside tourism commercial zones going on, and some, you know, waterfront living. So that's just kind of this little beach strip. And then moving on to this part of the city, this is, you know, where we're going to start getting into the higher density. This is going to be part of the downtown, and I'm thinking I'm going to push the downtown also kind of over here, and, you know, get rid of some of the swampland on this side of the highway at least, and make this kind of all buildable area. Since, again, we are not using any kind of tile expansion mods, I have to, you know, kind of cram what I can in here. And I think changing this to be all just a big plot of land where I can build a, you know, substantial downtown area and some suburbs, maybe like, you know, around this area here, it would be very, very useful. So definitely, you know, keep that in mind going forward. And yeah, one thing that I like that I did too is I never use like a lot of the eco that eco residential specialization. So this whole little island here is all eco-friendly housing. So as you can see, I love these buildings, the little rooftop, you know, grass and everything. It just looks really, really cool. And I love the modern design of even some of the lower density buildings. I mean, just look at those, like they look awesome. So for vanilla, that is, you know. So yeah, I like making little neighborhoods like this, and even put this fancy high school over there that goes with the theme. And yeah, I really like this little part of the city. And you could, you know, see this little baseball park here. This is part of the new sports stadiums DLC or content creator pack, whatever you want to call it. You know, there's plenty of these around the city, like these little sports complexes. So there's like a baseball park. I think I put one of the soccer parks here. They fit in so nicely, and they add a real nice touch to, you know, your park variety and your park areas and everything. Gives people some more things to do. So yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's not the prettiest city. Obviously, like, the industry still needs a lot of work. I have no specialized industry yet, and I really don't know what I want to do on this map in terms of specialized industry, because there's not a lot of resources on the map, and nor do I have a lot of room to build it. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is kind of picking one and just making that like the industry for the map, you know, either whether it be oil or mining. I'm thinking, since this is kind of like a Gulf Coast type of environment, I'm thinking that oil might be the move. And you know, maybe I'll put like some oil resource kind of like over here, like a drilling area. And then, you know, I want to put the cargo port here, and so I'll put some, you know, oil tanks and everything, and obviously unique factories. So who knows? I mean, maybe it'll be possible that we actually do end up being able to use all the special industry types. But if not, it's not going to be the end of the world, because that is a goal in Percussion for me, is to use all the industry types. So I don't feel like I need to really do that here. But yeah, you know, I mean, this is what we got to work with so far. I fully intend on building right here. I want to put the university. Over here, I want to put a stadium, like in this part right here, I think. And obviously, you know, expand out the suburbs over here. This will be another suburban kind of island right there. And I really like the little, you know, rivers that kind of go through, little like canal type things that we got going on. That's something really cool, and something that I don't really have a lot in you know, other maps for my city. So yeah, But one issue that is going on is obviously since this is vanilla and I'm not using any like gameplay altering mods, we have quite a substantial death wave going on right now. You know, obviously the city's pretty old and, you know, it happens. And especially like this, gosh. I mean, my population was just over 18,000 and now as you can see, it's dropping, which it's fine. It'll pass. But yeah, I do think I have enough crematoriums down and everything to handle it. But yeah, it's just inevitable when you play vanilla without some kind of lifestyle, that like the lifestyle rebalance mod that I always use or something like that. Yeah, having that mod's just awesome, and not having it really kind of messes you up a little bit, but it's okay. You know, I've seen worse. I think my death wave in Hawthorne was way worse than this. So anyway, without further ado, let's talk about what we want to do for this episode. So for this episode, I want to start with kind of the bigger forms of public transport and then go into some of the more, you know, I guess local is the right word, localized forms. So thinking, you know, what brings people into the city first, and then how do we get those people around the city? So obviously the most like high volume, you know, bringing people in and out of the city is probably going to be our airport. So I, you know, decided that I wanted to actually start with the airport, which is a little bit weird. I think people usually start with buses. I know I've always started with buses because they're cheap and you unlock them really early. But I think that since I am playing with everything unlocked, even though I still got a limited money, but I am playing with everything unlocked. And so I think it would be fun to start with the airport, bring people in, and then figure out, you know, go from there to like train lines, and then, you know, from train lines to metro lines, and metro lines to maybe, you know, monorails, and then like buses will basically be the last thing that we do, because, you know, it's just getting people into very, very localized areas around your city. So it helps too, I think, to have the bigger forms of public transport, like the bigger networks kind of laid out, so you can figure out exactly where you want the buses to take people, and you'll have some of these, you know, transport hubs, and you can transport people easily between those hubs once you know where everything, you know, kind of connects. So obviously this is going to be a big hub for public transport. We're going to bring, I have this train line here that is going to, this train line kind of runs, it's a little bit of a weird train line, I must admit, but I didn't really, this map, the start of the map really didn't have a great train option from the beginning. The only, the rail line came around this way and kind of ended up like right here. And so there was no train line down here in the starting tile or anything like that. So I kind of had to work with what I had, and, you know, I expanded this out a little bit, thinking that we're going to have probably 2 train lines going into the downtown. I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet for a central station. I don't even know if I'm going to put a big central station, or if I'm just going to put like a central transit hub. Maybe that might be the way to go. So we'll see. I'm excited to see kind of what we're going to do with that. But yeah, so like I said, we are going to start with the airport, and I already designed this using the airport's DLC. I'm thinking something very simple, probably just one runway for now. And if I do need to add a second one, not sure really where I'll put it. Maybe like this. I think that could work. But for now, I just wanted to keep it very simple. One airport. The city is not huge. It is a little bit scaled down. And I thought that 2 runways would just make this look really, really ridiculously huge for no reason. So for now, I'm going to keep it like this. And I know I might have to reverse the way of the runway. I'm not quite sure yet, because I don't know how the planes are going to come in and take off. I mean, so I wanted to put it sort of parallel to these 2 mountains here, because obviously you wouldn't want to fly a plane over this mountain and then try to land it, you know, going this way. So I figured the best way would be for planes to come kind of through this valley, and that way you could have a much better visibility of the runway and not have to worry about like crashing into these mountains or anything. So as a pilot, I felt like that'd be a little bit less stressful. That makes a lot more sense to do it that way. And then, you know, taking off or whatever the other way. I know there are some taller buildings here, but nothing too crazy. So I think that will be fine. You know, I should be able to clear these, no problem. And obviously I'm not going to build anything really here except for maybe some low-lying industrial warehouses or something like that. Typically what you would find around, you know, airports, a lot of industry distribution centers, things like that. So the first thing that I want to do, now that we actually have the a rough kind of idea of what the airport is going to look like, this is the just the modern 2-story terminal. I wanted to use 2 stories instead of 1 because I feel like even though this is a small airport, there still might be some room for expansion in the future. So I don't want to limit myself to have to rebuild like the entire terminal or anything. So this is going to be a good foundation for us, as you can see. And so the first thing that we're going to do, I will be quiet now and actually start building, is plan out where we want the little highways to go. We need to make a highway connection, and then we need to make a like some of the, probably a parking lot, and you know, maybe like some even some hotels or something right around here, or more over here or something like that, a little bit farther away from the airport. But for now, I am going to go ahead and make this highway connection. This frontage road is just kind of a placeholder for now, but we'll come back to that later. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of jump into a time lapse and then talk to you guys in a minute once I have something that sort of resembles a little airport, you know, highway, whatever you want to call it, circle, concourse. I don't know what the technical term is, but either way, I'm gonna get started. So talk to you guys in a minute. All right, so there is a very rough idea of kind of what I want to do here. And as you can see, you know, I just wanted to make sure that we have all of the connections that we need. So we have a highway, off-ramp here. And, ooh, actually, I did forget to do one thing. I will be right back. All right, so that's better. I forgot to have a way where people can get off on going this way, you know, to get to the airport. So yeah, this is super, super ugly, I know, for right now, but I'm going to just take a minute to detail this up using Move It, and then I will check back in with you guys in another second. So yeah, enjoy the next time lapse. Okay, so that's a little bit better. I think it's still not the most pretty roundabout airport thing that I've ever seen, but you know what? It will do for now because I know this is kind of a tight space, and again, we're not trying to build anything super massive. I mean, this already looks pretty huge compared to the rest of what we got in the city. So the one thing that I don't like right now is this road here because I feel like this is going to be a little bit congested since people will have to either, if you're coming here and you want to go here, you have to cross over. And same thing with the people coming from here to this way, they got to cross over. So there's going to be a lot of crisscrossing going on there, and the traffic in that spot is what it is. Same with this. I mean, this has a little more room to do it. So, that should be a little bit better if I want to go up or go down. And they can always just go around too if they don't, have the best way. But I think that should be okay for now, given that this probably won't be a super high volume airport. And of course, we're going to have a lot of public transport options available. So people hopefully don't need to drive as much. So with that being all completed, now I would like to kind of do a little bit with the inside of this area here. Typically there's, a little cell phone lot or some kind of, parking garage or even a hotel, like an office space. So I'm going to, just take some time, kind of detail this up, maybe, see what it turns out to be. Let's give it a shot. All right, I think that is pretty good for now. The next thing I want to do is, probably come back to this area once we get some more public transport stuff in order and, expand out this terminal, maybe add a train station or one of those, or the metro station, depending on where those lines are going to run. Most definitely it's going to be a train station. I don't think the metro is going to come out this far because this is, it's more of a regional airport, I guess, rather than a city airport, considering the downtown's over here. So the metro is definitely not going to run all the way out here, especially if we have the train. So yeah, we'll, expand this a little bit, put the train station on, and probably build up like some hotels or something around here. I was going to put one in here, but I didn't really have the space, and I think that people would rather not stay in the airport. You know, I imagine these are just some offices related to the airport functions, whereas a hotel might be, you know, somewhere over here. And I also want to build one thing that I've never done in the airports DLC is build the any of the cargo stuff. So I'd like to build one of the like the cargo terminals, probably like over here in this open area, and then we'll have, you know, maybe a second little port right here in addition to this one. So yeah, I am gonna call it on the episode for today. I know it was a, you know, probably a little bit longer one just because of the introduction and everything, and we didn't do a ton of building in this episode. But don't worry, we're gonna really get going in the next one and in all the ones after that, finishing up this airport and, you know, hopefully heading on to the other networks. So yeah, hopefully you guys follow along with the series. I'm excited to do it. Like I said, it's something that I haven't really done in City Skylines before, and I always like to, you know, give myself a little challenge when I play, you know, to always make something, do something functional in the city. And, you know, making a good public transit network is definitely very essential to any city development. So hopefully you guys are interested as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel and would like to follow along with the series or any of my other series, please do so. I really appreciate it. And yeah, give a like or leave a comment if you have any ideas for, you know, what networks I should start with, or you know, any suggestions that you may have. I am always open to feedback and love hearing from all of you guys. So thank you again for watching, and I will talk to y'all in the next episode. Have a great week. See ya.